A young man from the rugged mountains of Chechnya, stepping into the chaos of World War II with nothing but courage in his heart. His name, Yunus Abdulshaidovich Abdulshaidov. Born in 1921, he became a symbol of resilience, fighting for the Soviet Union against the relentless storm of Nazi Germany. Before we dive into this incredible story of bravery, loyalty, and survival, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss inspiring stories like this. And if you believe these forgotten heroes deserve recognition, leave a comment and share this video with others. He was a forgotten hero of Chechnya, a man whose name history nearly erased. Born in 1921 in a small Chechen village nestled in the Caucasus mountains, Yunus grew up in a time of turbulence. The Soviet Union was still solidifying its power after the Russian Civil War, and his homeland experienced deep cultural and political changes. Life was never easy. The mountains provided beauty but also hardship. Yunus belonged to a proud Chechen family steeped in traditions of honor, hospitality, and resilience. These values would shape him into the soldier he would become. When World War II erupted in 1939 and the German army advanced deep into Soviet territory by 1941, millions of young men across the USSR were called to defend their homeland. Among them was Yunus, just 20 years old, strong, determined, and ready to fight. In June 1941, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history, sending over 3 million German soldiers into the Soviet Union. The USSR was caught off guard. Entire cities fell and the Red Army suffered devastating losses. In Chechnya, the news of war spread like wildfire. For Yunus, it was a call he could not ignore. Despite the challenges of language, barriers, and cultural differences within the multi-ethnic Soviet army, he volunteered to serve. His family was proud yet fearful. They had already endured years of political upheaval, and now their beloved son was heading to a battlefield thousands of kilometers away. Yunus promised to return, a promise every soldier makes, though none can truly guarantee. Before facing the Germans, Yunus underwent rigorous training. Soviet military camps were harsh, brutal winters, scarce food, and relentless drills. But this was where Yunus transformed from a village boy into a disciplined soldier. He learned Russian fluently, mastered rifles, machine guns, and grenades. But more importantly, he learned brotherhood. Soldiers from Ukraine, Russia, Georgia, Armenia, Kazakhstan, and Central Asia stood beside him. Despite different languages and traditions, they shared one mission: defeat Nazi Germany. This unity and diversity became a source of strength. Yunus, like many from the Caucasus, was known for his courage and agility. His comrades respected his fearlessness, his sense of honor, and his ability to remain calm under fire. By late 1942, Yunus was deployed to the Eastern Front, the deadliest theater of World War II. Here, every day was a struggle for survival. The Germans were advancing toward the Caucasus, aiming for the vital oil fields of Baku. If they succeeded, the Soviet war effort would collapse. Yunus fought in some of the most brutal battles, possibly near Stalingrad or in the North Caucasus campaign. The winter was merciless. Temperatures dropped to -30 degrees Celsius. Soldiers lacked proper clothing, food, and sometimes even ammunition. Imagine this: Yunus, wrapped in a tattered coat, clutching his rifle, hiding in frozen trenches as German artillery thundered above. Hunger gnawed at his stomach. Death was everywhere, friends falling beside him, cities burning, skies black with smoke. Yet he held the line. For Yunus, this was more than a fight for the Soviet Union. It was a fight for his homeland, for his family, for the freedom of his people. While records of individual soldiers are often scarce, veterans like Yunus were known for acts of extraordinary bravery. Chechen soldiers were particularly valued for their mountain warfare skills, stealth, endurance, and close combat expertise. One story, passed down in local accounts, tells of Yunus and his unit ambushing a German supply convoy in the Caucasus Mountains. Using their knowledge of rugged terrain, they inflicted heavy losses on the enemy, capturing weapons and food, life-saving resources for the Red Army. On another occasion, Yunus reportedly volunteered for a dangerous night raid to destroy a German machine gun nest that had pinned down his comrades. Crawling silently under barbed wire, he lobbed grenades into the enemy position, eliminating the threat and saving countless lives. These were not acts done for glory or medals. For Yunus, courage was simply duty. As the war dragged on, the tide began to turn. The Battle of Stalingrad in 1942 and 1943 marked the beginning of the German retreat. Yunus and his comrades pushed westward, liberating occupied Soviet towns, chasing the enemy back toward Berlin. By 1945, after 4 years of bloodshed, the Red Army stood victorious. The Nazi regime had fallen. The Soviet Union had lost over 27 million lives, but they had prevailed. Yunus survived the war, a miracle in itself given the staggering death toll. He returned home to Chechnya, forever changed. The boy who had left in 1941 came back as a hardened man, carrying memories of horror and heroism alike. Coming home was not easy. Yunus faced new challenges. Chechnya, like many regions, had suffered greatly. Families were broken. Economies were shattered. And for Chechen soldiers, there was an additional tragedy. The 1944 deportation of Chechens and Ingush to Central Asia under Stalin's orders, accused of collaboration with Nazis, a charge that punished even loyal veterans like Yunus. Imagine the heartbreak. After risking his life for the Soviet Union, Yunus was forced to leave his homeland. He, along with hundreds of thousands, endured the harsh exile to Kazakhstan or Siberia. Many perished during the journey, but Yunus endured. His resilience once again shone through. He built a life in exile, raised a family, and eventually returned to Chechnya when the ban was lifted in the late 1950s. Today, the name Yunus Abdulshaidovich Abdulshaidov may not appear in school textbooks, but his story, and the stories of countless others like him, deserve to be told. He reminds us that war is not fought by nations alone, but by ordinary people with extraordinary courage. He reminds us that loyalty and sacrifice often go unrecognized, yet they shape the world we live in. For the Chechen people, Yunus stands as a symbol of honor, resilience, and unwavering strength, a man who faced one of history's greatest evils and returned with his dignity intact. As we reflect on Yunus's journey from a mountain village to the blood-soaked trenches of World War II, we see more than a soldier. We see a son, a patriot, a survivor. His story is not just history. It's a living reminder that courage knows no boundaries, and that even in the darkest times, humanity shines through. Thank you for watching. If you believe stories like Yunus's should never be forgotten, share this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more powerful true stories of history's unsung heroes.